So, how you doing, Jeremy Ballrick?
Pretty good. We have to remember at the end of the Super Bowl last year, CJGJ even went out of that game. And it could have been just a minor tear that was missed that he tweaked this offseason. We don't know. But when it's a non contact knee injury, what we do know is 99.9% of this time, it is the season ending three variety: ACL, MCL, or PCL. So does it suck? Absolutely. Is it the worst thing in the world? No, it does not mean Will Harris has to start. You have to remember he's behind three other guys on the depth chart that's
Yeah,
ahead of him that's still on the roster: Jerry Jacobs, Chase Lucas, and you have to throw Brian Branch in there.
you do. That's what I was just talking about right
So,
there.
so to say we don't have depth, we do. We have lots of depth, and this also gives a shot for UDFA, who was supposed to be a first rounder, third safety overall, Brendan Joseph, to make the active roster as well.
Yeah, and then Sterling Thomas has looked really, really good. So let's get
Right.
into some of this good right here. I mean, injuries happen, guys. I mean, CJGJ is. I don't know. He was like the bonus guy. I thought that the Lions were put over the edge with the Emmanuel Mosley, and then the drafting of Brian Branch. Putting all this resources into the secondary after it being so abysmal last year. So this isn't a killer, but it sucks
It's a
because
blow. It's a blow, but it's not a killing blow.
you brought in CJGJ to bring a guy like Brian Branch along, but they play the same position. Yesterday, that's what I had read, was that it was CJGJ in the number one slot, and they were switching him out between him and Brian Branch right off the get go. So, I like the fact that we did draft Brian Branch now for sure, and we do have a deep secondary with everybody that we had brought in right there. One of the really good things that surprised me to see on this was that Levi Onwuzurike was practicing. And if everybody was wondering, oh man, we should have drafted a defensive tackle in the first round, blah 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 blah, and all that. Well, they got Broderick Martin in third round, and I think that they knew how Levi Onwuzurike was progressing.
I was sharing all sorts of reports that Levi Wuzariki was close to coming back to stymie the defensive tackle draft talk even prior to the draft.
Yeah,
That they said he was already working out on his rehab and looking good. That's a sign that the guy's going to be back for the season. If you're
right,
hearing that he's rehabbing prior to the draft, he's going to be back.
right. And that's good to know. I mean, they invested a second round draft pick into him in the very first year of Brad Holmes' regime, and they went back to back, taking Levi and then Aleem. So the whole intention from the get go was to get Aleem and Levi right next to each other. With actually, to believe it or not, it was supposed to be Levi was supposed to be the attacking defensive tackle, and but Aleem over this offseason has turned himself into the attacking defensive lineman. So does he make the team?
I think he can because he plays inside and out, and because he's a Brad Holmes guy. If
Right.
he was a Quinn guy, he'd already be gone.
But doesn't that say, I mean, that talks so much to the depth of what we have, because it is going to be a hard room to crack with Broderick Martin, Isaiah Buggs. They brought in
John
Covington,
Kaminsky.
Kaminsky. You got, Aleem McNeil. So they have guys that are there, and it ain't no gimme. It ain't no layup that Levi makes this team. I mean, they in a sense, they've already drafted his replacement, and it's like they've moved on. So he would be a bonus dude if I'm looking at it from the outside here, and we'll take
I
it.
think I
We'll
think
take some good news.
due to the versatility, it's good news and it's great news because it's somebody that they wanted to make the depth chart. Oh, got to get the granddaughter on there. I know.
I thought that she was in the bottom part of the camera, but I guess not.
No, no, no. You had it
She's
just aimed a little too high.
a little bit too high. A little Lions fan right there. We got to get her like a little
That was just
onesie.
like those little Japanese guys pounding the drums dressed as Indians in Major League. It's too high, too high. Who gives a shit? It's gone.
Oh man. So Matt says, morning gents, praying for CJ. Branch will have to step up possibly sooner, potentially than needed. Next man up. Yeah, it is. But
We still got Ife Melifamu, who played corner and safety as well, who finished ahead of Will Harris. Everybody's like so against Will Harris, but as a corner, he actually wasn't dog water like he was at safety.
yeah, he's like the cornerback version of Anzalone, where it's like he's played pretty well, but he has had stretches where he hasn't played well. And a lot of the fan base likes to remember only when he didn't play well and didn't remember all the stuff that he did do. And Will Harris was better. He was better after he had when they switched him to corner. He was it was night and day difference between him playing corner
Put
and
it this way,
safety.
a 20 PFF to a 60 PFF is miles of improvement.
Sure. Yeah. But from dog water to, okay. You want to take her? All right.
Aww.
Hey, grandma's here, but she's being so heavenly right here. But yep, this is Alora. She's a little Lions fan right there that doesn't know anything but winning.
And to the Packer fan who was in here last week, when's the last time you finished above 500? It was 2022, dumbass. We were 9-8.
Yeah, but you know what? I really like. I listened to every interview from yesterday after the training camp and everything, and I love the attitude of all of the lines because they said the same thing. We haven't won nothing yet, and we ain't practicing like we've won something. It's cool that the fan base is jacked, and we should be, but these guys aren't going to stop working. These guys aren't these guys aren't satisfied. They have not arrived, and they're not acting like they arrived.
Jamez popped into the main event chat this morning and said, is DC pushing players too hard? And I was like, oh, not like Minnesota last year with Irv Smith Jr. re-injuring his ACL after he did it 2 years in a row in off-season camp with you guys. Yeah. Stymie that talk.
Yeah, and John, thank you for the comment right here. Are we in trouble, guys? Talking, I mean, this is what we're talking about right here, and I don't think that we're in trouble because we have depth.
Like I said, it's a blow, but that means the depth guys got to step up. We've been the next man up the last 2 years in a row. That's the way I feel on it.
Yeah, and last year when you had guys like Tom Kennedy and like CJ Moore, Savion Smith, these guys are no-name guys that and I say no name because we in Detroit, we know these guys, but no outside of the 222 Rodwood Drive, there nobody knows who these guys are. But that's because they've been developing guys, and the guys on our practice squad could probably play on your team, Jamez, if that's what you were talking. But they do have the depth in that position. And a lot of guys like Sutton can play slot corner too. Like he can play all over the field. They have versatile guys that most of them can play 2 or 3 of the positions.
Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing. A top 25 corner, that means he can play any position on a roster as a starter. You can say what you want. You don't make top 25 in ranking, and that's out of all the corners, and there's way more corners than there are tight ends. You're a starter if you're a top 25.
Man, but that does, I mean, honestly, if you're from one of the other fan bases and you drop, I know that you're not happy for injuries, but we are not going to undersell this. This is a gigantic blow. And I want to know if you're out there and you're one of those SOL type of people, is this an SOL type of moment for you? Is this something that scares you beyond and like, okay, here it goes. Now the bottom's going to fall out. Are you feeling that? Or are you like, I mean, Jeremy and I are kind of on a united front here where we do have depth and we do have good coaching. So we're not as concerned. I mean, if they have a couple more injuries, we're going to get more concerned, but is it SOL?
Here's where I am on it. If it had been Tracy Walker and CJGJ going down at the same time, that'd have been some SOL crap.
Right.
Yeah, Tracy Walker's coming back healthy. CJ Gardner Johnson had a minor injury that took him out of the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. And even if it was just a minor tear, that doesn't always show up in an x-ray or an ultrasound. So the first time he cuts on it majorly, it goes out with a non-contact injury. If he would have been hit, I probably would be less worried. With it being a non-contact injury, I'm worried it's of the out for the season variety.
But one of the things that they haven't reported whether it's huge or not, because a lot of times, I mean, a non-contact injury, it may be a precaution type of thing where they just don't want him to move on it because he didn't walk off. He didn't put any weight on it. They took him off of the field. He didn't do anything. So that's a good thing from the point of they handled it right medically. So they weren't going to do any more damage to it. So there is still a chance that it could be a tweak. And
the only reason why I'm thinking it's more is because team captains Goff and Anzalone came over and consoled him as he was crying on the cart. That's why I think it's more.
Yeah. I mean, that does say, it is reported here with the Pride of Detroit that it looks like it is going to be a serious injury, but we don't have that officially yet. So there is still the small piece of hope, because sometimes it can feel worse. I've heard of that happening where someone's like, oh, I thought it was done and it was just a tweak and it was a scare. But John Kapler says that we gave this guy a 1-year deal, kind of a hope and a prayer that he could do something for us. Things happen. It is what it is. Yeah. They expected him to be a starter on a playoff contending, Super Bowl contending team, and it was pushing him over the edge. We're not going to undersell it like that, John. This isn't a hope and a prayer. This was a guy that we brought in to be a top 5 safety, and that's what he is. And it's a huge blow. It's a huge blow. You're hoping and praying that Brian Branch is that guy. And from what they're saying on practice as a gunner, they said he looks like, throw the 40 time out the window. They said when they saw this guy run down the field on a gunner. So if you're going, oh, he didn't run a fast 40, he got down there faster than 4.3 running Sterling Thomas. Brian Branch wins the race on a football field. Forget track.
When you got guys that look faster on film, 9 times out of 10, it's because they don't know how to run without football pads on. We've seen it before. Look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. Does he look like a 4.5 guy on the field? No, not at all.
No.
He looks closer to 4.4, maybe high-end 4.3. It's all about game speed. Game speed, these guys are sideline to sideline defenders or route runners that are quicker than everybody thought they were. Right. And that's why they fall, and that's why they're considered steals of the draft.
Right. Yeah. And that's a good testament, though. I like having depth, because these are killers. Like in years past, an injury like this of your top free agent signing. I love you, Sutton, but when CJ, even though he got paid less, that was a bigger signing than Sutton. CJ Gardner Johnson is a top end safety. He led the league in interceptions. This is one of those top end guys that puts you over the edge.
He was supposed to be vet leadership.
And he can still provide that leadership. That is awful. Tina says that she's not worried. And that's probably because of the depth of Don says, man, this is huge last period, a huge loss period, leadership, etc. It is. Is it SOL though? Are you feeling like SOL. Is this do you feel that it is SOL out there? Like, I mean, I'm giving the SOL people a chance to come out of the closet because it ain't been well for you thinking that this team's going to be bad and that we're destined to be bad. You guys have been in hibernation. We ain't seen any of these SOL people. This is one of those moments that you can come and peek your little dumb head out, but you probably won't because you're too scared because you know this team's good anyway. You know that we have guys that are going to step up and love to have an opportunity to jump into that position and be the next playmaker. So I'm not worried about it. Jeremy's not worried about it, but we can't afford to keep on having these injuries happen. Depth is cool, but I mean, if you lose all of your depth, then you don't have any depth anymore. So, I mean, we can hope these guys are going to come back, but crying is never a good thing, especially when you're on a cart when it comes to football. Yes, it's
the truth, because that means that it's worse than people think.
Thanks. This isn't losing Craig Reynolds. It is what it is. I think that's right. Is that what he's trying to say? This isn't it is losing a Craig Reynolds. Yeah, I think what he's trying to say is that, you know, it wouldn't be like losing your third string running back. This is losing your starter. Huge blow. Hoping it's just an MCL sprain. Yeah, her MCL, that would at least give us a chance to get him back this season. Oh, yeah. The Lions are going to get Kirk paid again, like the Vikings did Daniel Jones. I see it now. The Lions are going to get Kirk paid again, like the Vikings did Daniel Jones. I'm not following your logic there, based Chiren. But there were some good news. I don't know about some of the other teams. If we're going to go look at some of this stuff.
And according to this, Brian Branch is already elevated on the depth chart, and so is Brendan Joseph.
Nice call. Look at that. And right as that we hit that, Mike Fisher says that I hoping Brian Branch gets some time developing, but now we are counting on him to step up and produce. We were deep. We still are deep.
Still because deep. Our starting safeties now are Tracy Walker and Kirby Joseph. The backups are Brian Branch and Iffy Melifonwu, unless Brendan Joseph can take on him. And then slot corner / safety Savion Smith is the fifth on there, and the sixth is Brendan Joseph. We have six safeties. We have six safeties that are Starling Thomas is right now leading in the slot for nickel, and Brian Branch is leading for the dime.
That's crazy to think about. And it was like last week we actually talked about the fact that we had so many secondary guys that somebody was going to get cut from this team and go start for somebody else. And now that probably won't happen because they'll probably put him down into one of the injury slots, and we might actually get to keep all of this talent. I'm not trying to be like, man, that's a dance, bald boy dance. That's all right. I don't know. Am I bald boy? Is that like some kind of insult to you? Lil Sipel gas? Little Sipel gas. All right. It's a beautiful bald head. And I'm going to dance bald boy dance. I can dance, but that doesn't mean that we don't have depth at the position that we just lost.
Do you know who's not on any? This is funny. Guess who's not on any of the depth charts as making the team right now?
Who?
Will Harris.
No, so he's still out? No, I think that Will Harris might have a good.
He's still listed as in reserves.
Okay. Yeah, well, Will Harris, gosh, he's, like I said, he's the Alex Anzalone of secondary. No, it's no, he gives me a compliment. All right. No, it's a compliment. You're impressively bald. Oh, thank you. Yes. I went in there and got the Bic one, all the way through silky smooth. Because when I have my granddaughter, you know, you got to be all silky smooth so you can rub the baby cheeks up against the baby cheeks. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's a little trick. That's a free one.
Nathan Peabody, we will probably have the diagnosis on CJGJ this afternoon.
So, yeah, we're just going live and literally I'm looking at this thing while I'm putting the show together to go live, and then I see it pop up, and I was just, yeah, that's the bad thing about going live every single day. If you're hitting news like real time, it's like you're actually getting our real reaction right here because this just happened. I don't even think Jeremy's had a chance to write about it yet. So
No, I haven't. Nathan Peabody also asked another one. Do you know if we have money to spend on more depth in the secondary if needed? Yes, we have around 20 million after signing Jahmyr Gibbs last week, which to me, the amount of money we gave him and it's fully guaranteed, that's usually a wide receiver contract, not a running back contract, which tells me exactly how they plan to use him.
right, and it's still only $5 million a year, and not even that.
No, first year is 8 million against the cap. After that, it's like 4.3 or less.
Yeah. So, and I'm hoping that Mike calls in here soon because he's got a great topic that we're going to get to and it's going to refer to this secret running back meeting that they had. And I don't want to dive into it until we get Michael on here. And if we don't get to it by noon, we'll go ahead and talk about it. But that it's a weird thing that's happening right now with the running back position, and it's going to change, especially if they end up striking all at the same time. That may affect change right there. Timothy says, "Hey, what's up, Timothy?
Maniac Tim, he's in the house.
Thank you for watching." I mean, these are avid football fans. I can't stress this enough. We've already been talking for half an hour on here, and if you're watching football, some talking heads like Jeremy and I on July 24th.
Maniac Tim is a talking head too. He is one of the original guys that helped create Detroit Lions on the Prowl with Jim Bordeaux.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for paving the way. I mean, I listened to On the Prowl. I listened to Pride of Detroit for, a couple of years while I'm talking to my guys on the phone, deciding that, I wanted to make a second career because, being a grandparent, being a new parent and everything like that, I can't music tour like I used to tour. And I had to find something that I could do at home. And, football is my second love. Outside of music, man. And honestly, it's close. It's close because I love football, and over the years of touring, we got to go to a bunch of different cities, and the thing that we did in our off time was, participated in sports, and got into, all the sports, and got to talk to a lot of different people all over the country about their favorite sports team. And what I recognize is that people are people, and I love a good football fan, but I love a good family man better. and if you're one of those people that use football on Sunday to bring your families together, then God bless you, because that's what you should be doing.
I've used the football and Madden to bring my family together as they were growing up. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We would create a franchise and do fantasy drafts, and
that's the only way we could win Super Bowls as Lion fans back then.
Oh, no. I actually still, from 2005 on, I would take the Lions and be fine after 2 years every time. Why? Because I was smarter than Matt Millen. Uh-oh. Am I froze or are you froze? Hello? Great. Well, it looks like I'm the talking head who's moving. Somebody's Wi-Fi just dropped out. Yep, there it is. So I'm solo now. Yeah, I agree with Russell though. Having a family base where you can use football to bring your family together, it's a huge thing. Hopefully Russell can come back real quick. I think his Wi-Fi just took a poop. Because I'm the only talking head here. What do you guys want to talk about? Because I don't know the subject that Mike has because I don't have the phone stuff here. I'm at my house while doing laundry and being a talking head for football. All I know is injuries happen every offseason. We've seen teams derailed before they get started. Thankfully, it's only one so far, and let's hope it stays that way. Thank you, Tim. This is Russell's show, the main event 365 phone sessions, where we let anyone come in and talk. The links are up above. Secondary depth, we have lots of it. I just looked it up, and it looks like the secondary depth puts Will Harris and AJ Parker on the reserves or odd men out. We still have Mosley's coming back. He's working out with the team, but he's not participating in the actual camp yet. He's doing the minor activities and the walkthroughs. So he's looking better and still recovering from his ACL surgery last year. Sutton is the one. Then they have, let me think, Brian Branch in there as the next man up for nickel corner now that CJGJ is down. Yes, Kareem Johnson, you're right. What up, though? Lions eat everything moving. But as far as safety depth, yeah, remember, we still got Ife Melifonwu. We still got all those guys. We got Jerry Jacobs in the secondary room, which he's going to move up, probably to the dime or the nickel slot. So you got Sutton and Mosley at the 1 and 2. Ah, you're working. Okay, gotcha. Okay, we got Sutton Mosley. We got Jerry Jacobs, Brian Branch, Brandon Joseph, Starling Thomas. Brandon Joseph is at the back end. He's CB6. He's also at the back end of the safeties. He's a safety 5 now that CJGJ went out. So we have depth. Our starters were always going to be Tracy Walker and Kirby Joseph. They were looking at starting CJGJ at the nickel corner just because he was better than Jerry Jacobs. He's better than Savion Smith. He's better than Chase Lucas. He's better than Will Harris, of course. Because Will Harris is so far looks like the odd man out unless he really balls out. Stephen King says, "Good morning, Jeremy. How you doing, King SJ?" Waiting for Russell to pop back in. Evidently his internet decided to pull a Walmart dropout. Hopefully he comes back soon. There he is.
You know what? I am going to sound off right here because I am so sick of internet connections, and I am so sick of you guys billing me on time every single time. I should be able to send you guys a bill when I have to connect my Wi-Fi to my freaking telephone Xfinity. You
right.
guys are awful. You guys are awful. You guys, there's nobody to hold you accountable. I pay my bill on time every single month. And you do this to me at least once every day. I get this stupid frozen look on my face because of you, Xfinity. I pay for the better internet. I pay for the better internet, the whatever 17 million megabytes per second because it's so much.
I was only silent for you for about 20 seconds, and then I continued going and just addressing the chat.
Thank
I just wanted to
you.
let you know I carried the show for a minute.
Jeremy Ballrick biting kneecaps. He bites them better than anybody that's out there. And if you want to have a kneecap biting contest, I think that you're going to lose. You will lose. You won't bite as many kneecaps. They're delicious. We're going to eat all
And
those.
nutritious.
Had enough of that shit.
Ask Aaron Rodgers. We got his 4 times last year.
Yeah, so much that we sent his ass out of town to the New York Jets. Jets, Jets.
Don't you know that's just the Packers East now since they got 5 Packers on the team?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, main event Mike. Let's see. There's main event Mike.
Woohoo!
Don't tell me you tried to call.
No, but I was backstage and it was just Jeremy and I was like, am I on the kneecap biters? What did I do?
Well, it's streaming to kneecap biting with the Detroit Lions, my channel. But I just had to carry the show while his internet pulled a Walmart issue.
Oh, well, we appreciate you, Jeremy. Thank you so much for that.
So DC8091 says, try upgrading your modem. Yeah, that was the same excuse they used 2 months ago. I got your brand new modem, and your new modem sucks too. Xfinity.
You get that new 10G modem.
It might be that metal plate in your head.
Yeah, that could be the reflection of my beautiful baldness. Oh my gosh, Mike, when I talked to you this morning, I didn't have the bad news yet. I came up here and I was just like, I can't believe that.
Well, we haven't got a report on what the injury is yet, right?
Yeah, but
he got a report. He was carted off crying. Goff and Anzalone came up and consoled him, and that it was a non-contact injury, which 99.9% of the time is one of the big 3: ACL, MCL, or PCL.
Could be a meniscus.
Could be.
Yeah,
but that's still a surgery that requires 6 to 8 weeks of recovery time. Okay. So
live with 6 to 8 weeks.
Now, I can live with that, but that's that 0.1%. That's the other one.
Yeah, well, let's hope.
There are a plethora of other things that it could be.
I know, but I'm just saying that it's 0.1% of those other things.
We're trying to give a little room here because, you know, the SOL fans, the guys that have been just waiting for the whole thing to implode, have been on the sidelines in witness protection with the Minnesota Viking fans, just trying to think of the next bad thing they can say. And I'm giving you an opportunity. Is this SOL? This isn't SOL to me. We have plenty of depth when it comes to this position right here. It's a huge blow. It is a huge blow, but that's why you have depth. That's why it is the next man up.
Maybe Lucas will make the team.
Yep.
Yeah, and so far, it looks like the odd man out is Will Harris, according to the depth chart online. Even with him being out, Will Harris doesn't get to the starting level.
Well, you're assuming that the undrafted free agent, Starling Thomas, makes it, right?
They already have him penciled in above him on the Lions website.
Yeah, but there's competitions in camp, and that could change.
There is, but from what like the reports that I was looking at yesterday, because I was so antsy because I knew that there was a practice. I knew they were going to have interviews after the practice was over, so I listened to all of them.
We have a report from Blake Hudson, meniscus injury, 8 weeks recovery, first course. Hallelujah! Nice. It's at 0.1. Hallelujah.
Mike hit the 0.1%, dude. We should send you to Vegas. We're sending you to Vegas this year. I think that you're going to be the one.
You better be betting this parlay right now. Go to the Eagle Sportsbook online and do over on the Lions, over on the Bears, under on the Vikings, under on the Packers right now.
So that 8 weeks, where does that take us?
I'm looking at the calendar right now.
Oh, Mike's on that. So, hey, thank you, Blake Hudson. It's a meniscus tear, 8 weeks recovery. Thank you for pointing that out while everybody else was trying to look it up too.
Before preseason starts right now, right?
Yeah, 8 weeks puts us at week 4 of the 3 of the NFL season. So he would miss the first few games.
Okay. So I mean
It's
that's
not
great.
same old Lions. Kiss my ass.
Yeah. W Vogs 18 says this ain't SOL, but you do have depth, and team always have the next man up mentality, or it should be
That's
installed.
Will. That's the grasshopper.
That is
The-
the
oh,
grasshopper.
the
That is my
grasshopper.
Padawan. That is my Padawan.
we got Jeremy one Kenobi. What?
There is no try, only do, Will.
Kneecaps you must bite. Mhm.
Oh man. So are there any
Tasty
I think that we have all Lions
Tasty they
fans in
are.
here.
We're all Lions fans so far.
Yeah, I'm looking back through the comments. I don't think that we have anybody else. So we're going to stick with Lions. If you are a Packer fan or you are a Bear fan or a Viking fan, go ahead and throw a comment there. We'll for sure. This is an NFC North show. We will talk any of the other teams, but we are Lions fans. And if you ain't in the comments, your team ain't relevant to me right now. And right now it's about the Detroit Lions. I got a chance to bring my granddaughter on this show because all
so
she's
cute.
going to know is winning. That's what's going to happen. 1992 came around, and there was this 20-year curse Green Bay Packer fans have been through. And you guys have been through the old, good Green Bay Packer fans from way, way back in the day. You guys remember what it was like to lose for a long time. But then there was a batch of babies that were born right around 1991, 92 in that area that they started understanding football right about the time when, Favre started dominating and then right into Aaron Rodgers. You haven't had a break.
Yes.
So,
Look, my Padawan is learning Bears, Packers, Vikings fans don't really exist, right?
well, not on this show. They're in witness protection.
Witless,
Oh,
Witless.
there's
witless protection.
witless protection.
They're being
like that.
protected by Larry the Cable Guy, not by FBI or DEA.
See, I like challenging other sides here. This is my style is devil's advocate. So DC 8091 CJGJ is for the most part a luxury. We'll be fine with the other guys and better when he comes back. I do want to caution that mentality, though. I mean, I understand the luxury pick, but the thing is a top 5 safety coming off of your roster. I don't care how much of a luxury pick it is. You can't expect Brian Branch or Starling Thomas or whoever is going to throw into that spot to be CJGJ.
Hey, look, he finally came out of hiding. There's, what is that, Jay Leggett?
Yeah, there you go. Go Pack, go.
We got one to come out.
That's
Hallelujah.
good. I would like to know if you're an older fan or a younger fan. Are you part of that 1992 baby and on that you've never experienced losing for a long period of time?
Packer fans like cockroaches. You turn on the light and they scream.
Oh, if that is true, then it would have been worse.
Right.
Or it could have been worse.
Yep. So let's hope that meniscus report that Jeremy just got is that a reliable source, Jeremy?
That was from one of our commenters.
Oh.
And I'm looking at something right now. There is optimism that DB CJ Gardner-Johnson knee injury is not serious per sources. Most tests come out that he went down in practice today, but it could be meniscus and he is fine. That's dodging a bullet.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Well,
And I was thinking of it yesterday. Man, training camp's opening. I sure hope there's not a major injury. Maybe I spoke it into existence. It might be my fault.
I don't speak about injuries in preseason because we've seen many teams derailed before the season starts due to injuries. Look at the Ravens. What was it, 2 years ago, when every single running back and they hired 3 grocery clerks to run the ball behind Lamar.
Yep.
Yeah. They went from depth to what are they going to do?
Wasn't it a Gus Edward? Gus, I can't remember that one's last name. And Dobbins went down in the same day, both of them with ACL tears.
Yep.
That's awful. That's awful.
Crazy.
Well, talking about these other teams right here, Packers. The Packers will be playing for for the division this year. Well, actually, there's 4 teams in the division that will be playing for the division this year. Funny thing is my dad is from Minnesota, and a Vikings fan, and I don't care anything about Vikings at all. Okay,
I've trained him well.
Jeremy One Kenobi.
Jeremy's like your new dad, Will.
No, I don't want to be his dad. That means I got to pay child support.
Jay says my first Packers quarterback was Brett Favre.
Yep,
and
so he does not know what it was like to have the horrible teams of the past.
And to the point, I brought my granddaughter on here, little baby Laura, because I honestly believe, and like regardless of what happens, just this year in the small sample size, I think that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, as long as they stay together with their leadership source, that this is going to be a relevant franchise for the next 10 to 15 years, and you're just going to have to deal with it. As long as these guys are there, they are going to compete every year, and all Alora is going to know is winning football, and that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
And Barbies.
And Barbies that play football.
Football.
Football Barbies.
So you're only going to buy her cheerleader, Skipper, and PJ. You're going to skip Barbie altogether.
Yeah, and the Ken doll, that's just going to be Jared Goff.
Yeah, I saw that meme the other day. That was hilarious.
That's a good one. That's a good one. He kind of embodies that whole like Ken doll thing there. It's just hard to find Packer fans that's ever been to Wisconsin. Really? Then it's hard to be a Dallas fan that had been in Texas, Raiders fans that have been in California or Nevada. Yeah, does that bother you? I mean, that fans, because we talked about this, we've had this as a topic on this show. Does that bother you? I mean, that your fan, you might be a fan from out of state or a fan from, a different, because I'm from Ohio and I like the Lions. So like,
I'm from Michigan, but I've lived in 5 states and remained a Detroit fan the entire time. I've lived in Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida, as well as Michigan.
Take a guy like Greg Rice, born in Alaska, lived most of his life in California, but yet he's a Lions fan because he saw Barry Sanders run once and beat the Raiders, and his whole family was Raiders fans, so he just loved that this little number 20 was tearing him up, and he became a Lions fan. He's been a diehard Lions fan ever since. Never even been to Michigan. I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we got fans in the UK that's never been to Michigan. We got fans in Australia that's never been to Michigan.
What about our buddy in Scotland, Russ? Is any word from him?
Yeah, he was in here. Barry was one of the first people to comment.
Oh,
I usually can't put his comments up because he doesn't. Yeah.
Oh,
he says, "Bonjour, you effers. Go Pack, go from Scotland."
There he is.
I'm sorry, we can't throw the F-bombs on until tonight's show. Which, by the way,
I love that. You've got a guy in Scotland speaking French, saying "Go Pat, go." What world are we in?
With Kirk Cousins saying you like that? Whoa, this is crazy. Oh, Alyssa says "Go Packers." So we got a couple of them in there.
No, I think Lisa there is saying "Go Pack her."
Yeah, go Packer.
Oh,
okay,
man.
I will, Elise. Thank you.
Let's see. John says, bro, you're old enough to have a granddaughter. Laugh out loud. Congratulations. Though, yeah, I'm a little bit older. I shave off about 20 years every time I shave my head.
He's still 2 years younger than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Mike, you're on fire today. You are on fire. It's gonna. You might as well plug the show for tonight because that smack talking is a real thing.
Get warmed up today. I want to bring all these Packer, Lions, and Bears fans and Vikings fans in tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We do it every Monday. It's the NFC North Open Mic. It's our trash talk show. We do some football analysis and talk about football topics, but mostly we just love to rip on each other. So leave your feelings at home, bring your thick skin. Every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's the NFC North Open Mic going live tonight in Facebook.
Oh man, I love being able to do that. And it is like, it's not entire trash talking, but here's the thing that I love about bringing a bunch of fans from, all 4 different fan bases is no matter what, 75% of the fan base is going to think that you suck because there's 4 teams in the NFC North. And it usually is a little bit of back and forth, 15, 20 minutes of just ripping on each other. But then it really is an accountability type of thing. We don't allow nonsense on these shows. We're not going to allow you to talk about your 7th round draft picks like they're somebody. We're not going to allow you to, overhype your dudes. And then you really get honest football talk when it comes down to it. And I love that part about our programming in the evening. And it's all because of you guys, because like our opinions suck ass. So if you guys didn't come in here and give your suck ass opinions along with ours, then we wouldn't feel good about ourselves.
You've had enough of that shit.
Oh, Packer fan from Detroit.
All right.
Yeah. I guess sometimes it just, is that what happens? Is that the natural progression to go from a Lions fan to an SOL fan? And then finally,
I think it's more like the Lions have been so terrible for so long that Lions fans have to have another team. They have to have somebody to root for in the playoffs because not the Lions. Playoffs. So Jeremy B, and sometimes if you don't want to go that route, maybe you can just pick a team that you root for in the AFC even. Jeremy, who's your second favorite team behind the Lions?
University of Michigan.
Me too.
I like that. That's a good, even though I hate Michigan, that's a good answer.
Who's your least hated team in the NFL besides the Lions?
As much as I hate to say it, it is probably Cleveland Browns.
Wow,
you're on my. He just stole my thunder.
And the reason why is because just like the Lions, they have not been relevant since the 50s.
Right. Well, Jim Brown in the 60s, they won championships, so that isn't true.
Oh, yeah, 61 and 62. Okay, fine. Still, it's been 60 years since they were relevant.
Right. And is that why you gravitate towards and kind of secretly root for the Browns?
I only root for them if we're out. And then 9 times out of 10,
they're the
9 times out of 10. Right. And 9 times out of 10, guess what? They're out too, so it doesn't matter.
Well, they have the ugliest colors and the ugliest uniforms that have ever been manifested, except those Green Bay throwback jerseys were uglier. But other than that, standard uniform, the Browns is last place in my opinion. I've always been a Raiders fan. I've always hated the Patriots, but I like Tom Brady. But my other team is the Raiders. Russ, what about you? Cleveland Browns also?
Well, I mean, I grew up around a whole bunch of Browns fans, right? My whole family was avid football fans before I really even knew anything about football, but I live vicariously through them. When they're happy, I'm happy. So, the Browns are, I guess I would say, my second favorite team, but here's the thing. It's like when the Lions are out, like Jeremy said, it's like usually the Browns are out too. So it's not like I get to have any fun in that way.
Oh, and then he disappears.
Yeah.
He talks about your internet.
But well, maybe he was just so disgusted that I would mention the Browns on my Lions podcast that he's done. He's like, I'm done.
Well, I tried not to pick an NFL team, but he forced me to.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, we are avid Lions fans. Like, I mean, I don't really gravitate too much to the playoff teams. I like football. So when it comes to the playoffs that the Lions aren't in, I usually just want to watch good football, and I want the game to be competitive. And I don't really root for a team. I rooted against Stafford because I didn't want him to have a championship not here. But
I knew it was going to happen. I said it when we traded him.
It sucks. It sucks, and he got really lucky. And I think that his team would get more of the credit, but people around here are going to say it's all because of Stafford. But I know that that's not true. I know that taking Aaron Donald and taking Von Miller, getting 4 sacks and keeping Joe Burrow out of the end zone for 8 straight minutes at the end of that game and giving Stafford 5 chances to get that touchdown.
Right.
And he did. And he did. Kudos to him for doing it. But yeah, I mean, thank you. You better go and buy Aaron Donald dinner every week for the rest of your life.
And the other thing I'm going to say is everybody that said that Matt Stafford won it with the team that was built for Jared Goff. Jared Goff didn't have OBJ or Von Miller on that team, and that was when it turned around because it was starting to go south midseason. Remember?
Mm-hmm. And the offensive line wasn't as good. And then he had that one awful season. I went through Jared Goff's career with some of the other guys, and that's it. We give so much love to Justin Fields and because Lamar he can run, Jackson. because he's exciting and run, but we underappreciate these guys that can just stand in the pocket and throw the football. And Jared Goff has had a good career, and he's touted as having like half of his career be bad. And I proved that to be false on this program.
He had 2 bad seasons out of 6.
And really, you can argue that it's one bad season because the one bad season that you're talking about, you're saying just because he threw 12 interceptions and didn't have he still performed at over 90 quarterback rating during that season. So it's like average seasons get shoveled like it's a bad season. And then his good seasons, they give all the credit to McVay for his good seasons.
Or Ben Johnson.
Yeah. So, and the thing is like all of it's true. All of those people deserve credit. Just like Patrick Mahomes and his offensive coordinator and his receivers being on the same page. You don't get on the same page without the entire team doing what they're supposed to be doing. Patrick Mahomes is a unicorn, but he couldn't do it by himself. You still have to have the wide receiver catch the football and then,
the O-line block, the running backs run, and the defense stop people.
And the offensive coordinator scheming the stuff together. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes all the time. Sometimes it's just back there. He sits in the pocket, makes a throw like every other quarterback.
Thank you, Tina. I see that. She says, I found you, Jeremy, on YouTube.
There you go.
Hallelujah.
Somebody found Jeremy on YouTube.
Imagine that.
Kneecap biting Detroit Lions with the Detroit Lions. And Jeremy goes live almost as much as we do. Like, I can't say that there's too many other people that have the work ethic that we do on this show with the people, but most of the people that come onto this show have a great work ethic when it comes to delivering Detroit Lions content, or in our case, NFC North content, because I know what it was like 3 years ago when I'm starving for content. I listened to my 2 favorite podcasts and then I'm like, oh, I need some more. Right. And
because for me, it was a Dose of Dion and Lions Chat with Micro Mike, and then Detroit Lions on the Prowl. That was the 3 that I checked out the most of the time.
I like the Pride of Detroit. Those guys are, I think they're good writers. I like their work ethic too. I like the way that they line up their off season. So, I mean, there's a lot of good Lions content, and those guys are all like, supported by the Detroit Lions. We're just a bunch of hacks on here trying to make it like just by being our own personalities and stuff. But we do appreciate you guys coming on here. There's 23 people on here talking football on July 24th.
Amazing.
That's the biggest thing. Woody. No. Only one team, Russell, not allowed. I mean, when you've been a Lion fan for as long as we have, it's like we want to watch the playoffs too.
Yeah, but it's funny that you and I gravitated to another lovable loser.
Yeah.
I mean, being from Ohio, it makes sense. But my family actually originates from Ohio in America too on my dad's side. Ballrick's potato chips. That's my great grandfather and his twin brother.
You know, it just took Barry Sanders running the ball. I mean, in my family, I'm not saying it turned on me, but it's like a fun rivalry to, you know, go and like a different team that's against them, right?
That blue right there when I was 5 years old, that's what made me fall in love with the Lions. And then October 2nd, 1982, watching in person as Billy Sims leapfrogs a lineman and karate kicks Stevie Brown, the cornerback of the Houston Oilers, to get a first down. And that's when it became a rule. You couldn't do that anymore after that season. That's when I fell in love with the Detroit Lions.
I love
completely.
it. That's a great story. That's a great story. Kareem says that he was born and raised a Detroiter, lifelong Lions fan. My least hated other team is the 49ers and sometimes the Bengals. As a kid, I loved their helmets. I had to be against I definitely grew up against the Cincinnati Bengals growing up.
I know which helmet he's talking about. He's talking about when they first switched it to the striped helmet with Chad Ochocinco and Andy Dalton and all those guys and Carson Palmer. He has to be talking about that era of football in Cincinnati, because prior to that, their helmet was almost as boring as the Browns.
Yeah. A lot of people asked, just so everybody knows the mentality of like my family members and the Browns fans. There is no second team in Ohio. Like the Cincinnati Bengals belong to Kentucky. And
I knew it.
And there is no second team. It isn't like Michigan State fans that like to have two chances to beat Ohio State every year. You don't get that. We are not. It's funny listening to some of my family members talk about that.
We like that.
Yeah.
We like that.
And just so you know, I am a Buckeye fan. I did bring that part to Michigan with me. I stayed loyal to the Buckeyes, and it was not a good day for my Cleveland Brown football fans when I told them that I was not a Cleveland Browns fan, that I was a Lions fan. It's like they thought that they raised me better, but they didn't. It was the first time I watched Barry Sanders run. I was just like, yeah, cry about it. Cry me a river. And then they sell the team. They didn't have any football there for, that was
5-6 years before they came back there. You know, was it 95 or was it 2000? It was 98 was when they sold it, because 99 was the first year of the Baltimore Ravens, right?
Yep.
The 99-2000 season.
Yep. And they took that team that Bill Belichick built, and then they won a championship with it.
No. Do you know that they were going to be called at one point the Baltimore Bombers? And when they created the logo on the helmet, they realized it looked like it was a bomber dropping turds instead of football. So they changed it to Ravens. That's the truth. That's the truth, though. Yeah. They were going to be called the Baltimore Bombers.
Oh. So let's see what else we got. We got Go Pack Go, and hey, we love our Lions and football 365 days a year. That's what it is, John. That's what it is. We live this stuff. I don't want to.
I may only do 2 podcasts myself during the week, but I come on every chance I get to talk to Russell before I go into work each day. I write about the Lions. I do research about them left and right, because I have my show on Friday that is 100% Lions. And unlike Russell, instead of doing just the NFC North, I do the whole NFL on Wednesdays. I talk about all 3 to 4 of the biggest topics every week about the NFL. Why? Because if you just base it off of one team in the off season, you know how hard it is to find enough content to fill a show?
No, I don't know. I don't go live 5 days a week.
Yeah, I know. I
have no idea what that's like, Jeremy.
No, I'm talking to the viewers, not you. Talking to the viewers, not you. There's a big difference.
Yeah. And you want to have that. I like to stick to the North just because I want to know my enemy. And we had Know Thy Enemy during last, and we may bring that back, because that's a good.
Down, Mike. Claypool on pup list. What's your guys' thoughts? You're better by subtraction. Claypool is not that good of a wide receiver. He's been way over touted. He was overdrafted. He was traded to you guys for next to nothing, and I just never liked him. He was originally a tight end at Notre Dame, which is probably where he should have stayed, but he was too light. He had the height, but he didn't have the weight to go with it.
Well, I think that you depended a lot on him. I think that you spent a second round pick on a guy that you probably should have spent a seventh round pick on. And I mean, it is what it is. You guys got him, and he is what he was when he left Pittsburgh, which is a problem maker that doesn't work as hard as he needs to work. I mean, he doesn't want to try to beat out Mooney or DJ Moore to try to get snaps. He just wants to be given he compared himself to Calvin Johnson, for crying out loud, because he had one good season. I mean, you have to have it right here in order to beat and to compete with the level of competition in the NFL. And if you're out there thinking that you're all that, like, look at Amon-Ra St. Brown in the way that he works. He ain't going out there taking anything for granted. They know that they got to go out there. They need to outwork everybody in order to win these games. Okay. Like, you're not going to be able to just osmosis and just, oh, here we go. Here's the playbook. Oh, look, it just seeps right in there. No, you got to work. You got to work every day.
Say what you want, but all the reports coming out of camp, the only guy that works harder than Amon-Ra St. Brown on the Lions right now to learn everything is Jameson Williams.
Wow, that's a bold statement right there.
I've heard from every single reporter that's been at camp. He's the first one on the field, and he waits for Amon-Ra to get done with the jugs machine, works out there, then runs routes, and then gets off the field. He's off the field after Amon-Ra, who was always the last one off the field the last 2 seasons.
And you know what? You learn that by watching that. You know, when you have guys that are setting good examples like Amon-Ra.
Here comes John Doran. Jameson Williams is a bust.
Well, he may be a bust, but he's working harder than anybody else on the team right now. So what is your choice at the starting nickel?
Right now, by experience, I would have to say probably Jerry Jacobs, then Brian Branch.
Yep. And if I had to vote, I want it to be Brian Branch. I want Brian Branch to earn it, but I want our second round pick to go in there and be the guy that they drafted him to be soon.
Right.
You know, and Jerry Jacobs, I like him because he can play outside corner too. So we may need depth in that position too. So yeah. And then John Dorrance, Jameson Williams is a bust. Yeah. So is Romeo Dobbs by that stretch.
And if you count the 18 drops for the first half of the season, so is Christian Watson.
So, I mean, yeah, he's just playing around with that.
You want to play around and call that shit out? I'll call it out too.
Yeah. We know who John will be on tonight's show. I know that he'll come on and at least say, give us a same old Lions tonight or whatever it is, you know, Fields is garbage. And, we're looking forward to having you on there. God, we've been this hour and 15 minutes again. It seems like we've been on for 15 minutes, but I did spend 15 minutes trying to find my internet connection.
And I waited, like I said, I waited a minute before I continued talking. And then when I realized somebody addressed me in the chat that I was the only one here because you were froze on the other side, I was like, okay, I'll just continue talking. Next thing you know, it was just me in my messy room behind me.
Oh, no. No. It wasn't laundry. Did I at least have a distinguishing look on my face, or was it like, hold on a second?
Yeah, you were getting ready to have a good take, and you went.
Yeah, it was probably my best take ever too, and y'all missed it. Oh no!
And thank you to Mr. Hudson for giving the update on CJ. Oh, it's messy.
Woody, where are you at, man? You want to come on? Let me throw the link in here. I'm not done talking. I got to get a lot of work done to do. One of the other things that I do on this is I design all the stuff that comes out on to the page with the cute little pictures and everything. So any of the misspellings, you can blame on me. Any of the wrong information, blame it on me. But I do try to put out. I do try to put out 5 or 6 pieces of content every day with a nice picture, something that you guys can engage into to keep it going. But I like doing that stuff, but if you can go through, and let's go through and give everybody a little prop right here. I don't know who's out there. I don't know where the fan base is. If you got Lions fans, I would love you to be able to go and like and follow this page, man. We are almost at 1,000 people. And if you could take the time right now and go follow Detroit Lions Villain Squad. We're putting out content nonstop, and we're close. I think there were like 10 people away from being at 1,000. We'd love to get over 1,000 on this show. Detroit Lions news. Gosh, these guys, like 55,000 Lion fans up in this page right here. And they put up good content there. And I'm glad that I get to throw some of the content that I make up into there. I think that we got some pretty good content too. But thank you, Detroit Lions news. Thank you to Hollis Hall Report and Mike the Bear Fan with Ken Doby and CNG Podcast come on there too on the Hollis Hall Report.
And don't forget Rudy Frank Gengeni.
And well, if Woody comes on here, I'm going to give Woody a big old plug right there. So Bill the Packer fan, yeah, he's kind of like the evil empire. You know, he's all cocky. They're thinking that Jordan Love is just coming right in, and no, they got him at 8-9 wins over there in Packer Nation too. I know that there are some people that think that the Packers are going to do good in the Homerville, but the realistic Packer fans got him at 8-9 wins. Even Bill the Packer fan had him in 9. So there we go. That was, and then Jeremy, you do your own. You right there. You do yours.
Well, you have my Motor City Kneecap Biters page on Facebook, which is approaching 800 subs so far. And then you got my page on YouTube, which is where I want you all to be. Damn it. It's Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions. If you haven't followed yet, go check it out. I get tons of comments about how good my videos are. So please come on out.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm looking on here. Maybe I didn't get, oh, no, I've hit the limit. Okay, so what do I got to do here? How do I get?
He must be watching from either
but
page or something like that. I don't know.
I don't think it's going in there. I don't have a spot. Let's take the. I can
just copy and paste into the other one.
But I'm not going live into Mike the Bear Fan. That was like, I'll send you one in the private chat. Right here, Woody. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how did that happen? How did I not go into it? I must have actually went into something. Okay, I went into a group accidentally. That's what I did. I went to one right next to it. But that's all right. Goat Mike is in the. What's going on, Goat Mike?
Salute. What y'all here chopping up on the Packers? I'm a diehard fan myself, so I love the Pack.
Go Mike.
So Goat Mike. Where you at on the Packers this year?
I mean, as far as the Packers go, I'm not gonna get no crazy high expectations on a team with a bunch of rookies that really ain't been there or done that, or really ain't seen, the NFL defense. We got a lot of young guys. Like for me, I got us winning 5 games. If we win more than 5, I'm happy with that. Just for the roster we do have some guys that are second, third year, fourth year player, but are the guys that we need to be big time players, they're first, second year guys, and they're not ready yet. Jaden Reed's not ready yet. His first year. Watson, it's only his second year. Dobbs, it's only his second year. First year missed like 10 games. We got a Aaron Jones that's getting another year older. I mean, I don't know. We got a bunch of young guys. I got us winning 5 games, no more than that. Wow. Go ahead.
No, I was just surprised. John Dorn's in here saying 5 games. What is he smoking? So he's a little more optimistic than you.
Here's why I say 5 games. If everybody forgets, when Rodgers came into the Packers, I think it was his first or second year. He came into a really good roster. A.J. Hawk, Clay Matthews, Donald Driver, Jermichael Finley, James. Right, thank you. Jordan Love's coming into a team with a bunch of unproven guys. So I got us winning 5 games, or if we win more than that, I'd be surprised.
All right.
Thank you, Dan Schoonover. Hey guys,
all right, I'm gonna write that down. I got
all my life, but I'm telling you all, golf will get you to the big show. Facts.
5 games for Goat Mike on that's a Green Bay Packer right there. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like getting these early predictions and I write them down. I don't even know what I'm going to do with all this information, but I do write down the predictions for everybody. So I like that.
You like that?
What's up, Woody?
What's going on? What's going on, fellas?
Man, I feel bad.
Fantastic.
I usually go into Mike the Bear fans. I must have clicked the wrong. I accidentally went into NFC North the huddle, which I usually just share it into that group. So I must have clicked that one instead of the main event or the Mike the Bear fan one.
That's fine.
But we'll put it out there. You guys go. You can still go follow Mike the Bear fan. You don't need to do it through my link. You can go Hollis Hall Report. They be going live on Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, baby, right before the big show.
Yeah. How about those injuries from today already, huh?
Oh gosh, we've been talking about it. We're trying to
Luckily, CJ
deal with it.
is looking like at most 8 weeks out.
And Hines is out for the year for Buffalo.
Oh, watch. If Hines went out, Zeke or Kelvin or Kareem Hunt is going.
I'm telling
to Buffalo.
you, that's why these teams don't sign these players. They wait till injuries happen.
Yeah,
I'm calling it now. They're getting one of those big 3, and more than likely Kareem Hunt. I think that would help Josh Allen out the most there.
Yeah, and he wouldn't cost a ton.
No, 6 to 8 million tops. And
yeah,
they have that.
Maybe that is a ton. So, oh shoot, man, Mike came on and then he got kicked out before he got to bring up the thing. So let's send this. I heard. I mean, a main event Mike. I'm sorry, Goat Mike. That we have Goat Mike, we have main event Mike, we got Mike the Bear fan. We got some mics up in this mug. But
Oh man,
You like that?
that deserved a 5 banger right there, 5 times. But what we wanted to talk about when main event Mike came on was I heard about the secret running back meetings. Like a bunch of the top running backs all got into like a secret room and it may be like a all the way around strike kind of thing, trying to affect the change on how they're paying the running backs right now. Anybody know anything about that?
Well,
No?
that was Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, and a few others getting together, including some of those free agents. They are tired of the fact that running back is the only position that has gone down in average pay out of everything since the last CBA. And I understand it. It's because of things like what Le'Veon Bell did. It's because of the suspensions and the major injuries that have been at the position. But yet they touched the ball only 80% of the time of a quarterback, which is more than a tight end, wide receiver, or anybody on defense, yet they get paid less than all of them.
Well, like I said, if Nick Chubb isn't worth $16 million, no running back is.
Exactly.
And you heard it here first.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I think he's worth every penny of $16 million.
And he only got $10 million.
Right.
So
he restructured down to 10. He was at 13.5.
Right. So if Saquon won 16, what is he basing that off of? Him getting hurt every year?
Right.
Wow.
He was basing it off of what Chubb was projected to make next season. But now that he restructured and went down to 10.5 next year it's 11.5. The year after that it's 13.5 because it added 2 years to his contract to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing, man. I mean, I see it from both angles because if you're trying to, construct a roster and you have, X amount of dollars to do it, whatever, 215 million or whatever the number is, then you got to figure out how to fit those guys in that pocket. And if you allocate even $10 million to a running back and he's taking the pounding and he gets injured, then that's
$10 million.
You're out. So these guys are getting hip to it. So anybody that's with smart roster construction, then everybody laughed at the Jahmyr Gibbs pickup. But here's the thing. You got this guy on a rookie contract for 5 years and you ain't got to worry about none of the $16 million a year stuff. And you got a running back. So people want to bring in their running back trio and they want to have that cost as much as that 10 million, right?
Yeah, I just don't understand fantasy either, because they still had Saquon at number 2, second best running back in fantasy.
When
I'm like, don't
technically
you?
it's Josh Jacobs.
I was like, he like against us, like I said, he lives 10 minutes up the road from me, right? From Whitehall High School in Pennsylvania. I seen him play high school. He has the strongest legs that I ever, like, if you would see him run, his legs are unbelievable. And then when you get to the pros against us a couple years ago, he had a non-contact injury to his knee. So I'm like, what are these guys doing that I know these are NFL, college, high school and stuff like that, but how are these guys getting hurt? They're training, they're weightlifting, they're, all this stuff. And then they get hurt with a non-contact injury.
In his defense, I am going to knock that field 100% because every time he's been hurt, it's been on his home field. Go look. That field prior to this season, because they just changed the turf, was known as the Field of Knees. 39 knees over the past 5 years in East Rutherford.
Well,
39 knees?
the injury against the Bears was on Soldier Field.
Well, yeah, but that was after he tweaked it and went out for a half the week before. What I'm saying is that might have been a slight tear. You know how there's those slight tears that don't pick up in x-rays and ultrasounds? And then you go out the next week and you do the same cut move and then boom, you're done. It starts at that field where he's from in East Rutherford. 39 knees over 5 years.
Well, Soldier Field's turf isn't too shabby either, huh?
Well, no, but you got to admit, if it's tweaked somewhere else, it's gonna tweak later. It happens all the time.
So I wanted to throw Goat Mike has been waiting patiently over here, and you have a couple really good running backs over there in Green Bay. What do you think about the paying Aaron Jones? I know he took a little bit of a pay cut, but putting a big portion of your salary cap into the running back position.
I mean, for me personally, a lot of people love Aaron Jones, but as much football as I watch, I've even played football. I really don't like Aaron Jones. I mean, he's a fast runner, but I don't like fast. I don't like running backs that just fast, but they don't really have no muscle. I like running backs that can run quick, but also got that burst like that. Like for example, Aaron Jones, I've seen him like against bad teams, he'll look really good. But then they get some big linemen and big physical teams. He gets knocked out. He fumbles the ball. You saw it against the Lions. I mean, the dude just ran him over, knocked the ball out. I mean against the 49ers too, knocking the ball out. For me, I'd rather have AJ and somebody else that's bigger that can really get that step, but also get that burst. Aaron Jones can get burst, but like I said, against good teams. Good teams really find a way to get the ball out of his hands, and then he gets frustrated, gets out of his game. I watched so many games he got benched in because he just can't handle the physicality. For me, I would not pay Aaron Jones. I'll let Aaron Jones go. I'll keep AJ. Give me another big back. For me, I would go after if I can get Derrick Henry. If I could do that, I would try to snatch Derrick Henry. Give me a Dalvin Cook, but he's probably already taken. But I want to get somebody that's really big like AJ.
He's still there, but it's just like Cleveland too. I like they were like the number one running back duo last couple of years for Cleveland. Yeah. And the Kareem Hunt is the strong. They're both strong as hell.
Yep.
And that's what I like. I have Nick Chubb on my fantasy every year. Every year.
I'll take either one of them. I'll take both of them on my team.
Yeah, I would too.
It's such a great question though, because I mean, where is the line of spending money and not spending money? Because everybody is alluding kind of to the same thing. It's like, do you want to spend all that money on another guy when, I mean, this is the NFL that you have to like split carries. The bell cow backs are kind of going out the window. You're getting a timeshare pretty much anywhere you go now.
Yeah, I think times are different now, because back then it was like more like ground and pound.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now it's like more of a passing. You would think the wide receivers would be more than the running backs right now,
Right.
the main receivers. So I'm thinking they're in the back of their head. They're like, oh, the running backs are a dime a dozen. So why would we pay them 13, 16 million
Right.
when they're a dime a dozen?
And it's completely different now, Woody. Like I did a bunch of research on Sterling Sharp because I was making some Packer videos of some old stuff, and a lot of people called him a Hall of Fame snub. Maybe he didn't play long enough, did play long enough, but he broke Art Monk's record for receptions in like I think 1991, and it was with 107 receptions. And that if that doesn't tell you how much the game has changed, like just in 1991, that he broke the receptions record at 107. I don't even know what it is now. I think probably in the 130s or something like that. Like we throw the ball now more than ever before. I mean, that was the most. It was unheard of. You hit 100 receptions in the NFL in the 80s and 90s. Oh, wow. That's crazy. You had 100 receptions. Now it's like the standard.
Well, like I'm saying too, if the records get broken, records are for a reason.
Right.
Sterling Sharp, I think, should, definitely be in. Just like Devin Hester. He broke the punt return records for touchdowns.
Yeah, he changed the game at that position.
And he was a first-year snub for the Hall of Fame. He's going to get in, but I think he should have got in the first time because he did do that. I mean, the special teams are important as well on a football team, definitely. And they're thinking probably because of his position that he didn't get in. Oh, he's punt returns, kickoff returns. Right. Who cares? But he definitely should be in. Absolutely.
And you're right. It probably is the position more than anything else, because I mean, you're not going to see a ton of kickers get in there either. I mean, it's like, and they may have the most important position on the field when it comes to, clutch moments, but
only your boy, Phil Dawson, remember?
I can't call them my boys. When you grow up in one area, your family and everybody that's around you tries to spoon feed you their team, right? Just like I got my little granddaughter on here. I want her to be a Lions fan, but at the end of the day, she's going to get old enough to understand what things are. She may not even be a football fan. I don't even know, but if she's a football fan, she'll make her decision. Like I made my decision. It is what.
Well, my dad's a big Cowboy fan. My mom's a Steelers fan, so you're not going to spoon feed me anything, but.
Nope. Oh, we know that, Woody. Ain't nobody messing with Woody. Woody will come to your house.
Absolutely. Fuckers, man. Yeah. I don't tolerate that crap.
Oh, but we don't hit the nonsense too much on here. That's what we like about, having the people on here. And, sometimes people get a little bit out of hand, but, we keep it football.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see you on our show yesterday. Too bad my laptop died. But, yeah, it was good to have. We had for the NFC huddle and stuff like that. I mean, when we had open mic, it was like a scream fest, and I just got off. But it's good to have other fans on that can keep it sane and stuff like that. Just talk football. You got the homers. Only the homers talk trash. That's what I've been learning for the last couple of years on these podcasts.
With this. I'm starting to find, like a stride when it comes to how people react when it comes to the smack talking. Now, the smack talking is fun. We poke at each other a little bit, but then when it comes down to it, it's just like you got 4 fan bases here that are holding each other accountable for their bullshit. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as Jamez comes on and starts talking, oh man, this Dwayne McBride's going to just step right in and be Dalvin Cook. And it's like, come on, dude, get out of here with that nonsense. Like, oh man, or even Bear fans that are like, oh man, all my guys that we spent $100 million. They're just, wow, we just have a cohesive unit now. Like, you don't know that? Like Lions fans, our secondary is just better.
This goat Mike that we're talking to, he said the Packers will only win 5 games.
Man, and look, this is coming from a dude that just spent I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a big time Packers fan. I just spent $4,000 in merchandise with Packers stuff. Talk about shoes, pants, hoodies, jacket. I mean, all kind of stuff. My whole room is decorated in Packers. I'm a diehard fan, but I don't got to win more than 5 games. I feel like Aaron Jones is going to be asked to do way too much. He's a very soft runner in my book. I don't see him as an all-time great running back. I see him as a very soft runner against the great teams. Even against some bad teams, they just knock the ball out of his hands. He has games where he looks good, then he has other games. In other words, he's not consistent, which is why I don't like Aaron Jones. You go to AJ, inconsistent. Watson, inconsistent. I got to see some consistency on this team all around for me to say that they can win more than 5 games. Jordan Love, I've seen flashes of greatness, and flashes are just like, oh my god, here we go. So the whole team has that problem. Even Preston Smith, games he'll look good defensively, games he'll look bad. Watt, he'll look good at times. It's the whole team, top to bottom. Bakhtiari, can he stand on the field?
So are you saying that Alexander is your most consistent player on your team right now?
Oh no, even he's not consistent. No, even he's not consistent. I saw him last year. He was up and down.
So this guy's a realist. This guy's a realist like me, Russell.
Yeah. You know what? You have to be a realist sometimes.
Oh, I'm all the time, buddy. All the time.
Lion fan, when we went through Matt Patricia, dog. I mean, you can't go into seasons with a ton of hope with this guy,
Russell, I was hoping to see on your headphones you have like a little pencil hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Like Patricia used to.
I was so excited to have. I was actually excited when they brought him in, but it only took like 3 weeks to.
You got it. Yeah, I've learned. I've learned Belichick's people never pan out. Was it Romeo? You got Patricia. You got McDaniels. I mean, McDaniels, with him, losing Carr, he was probably next to Adams as the best player on your team right now. But now that you don't have Carr now, I can't see him. I don't see the Raiders doing crap this year. I really don't.
Yeah. Who's the guy down in Miami?
Oh, the coach, you mean?
I'm drawing a blank right there.
Yeah, so am I.
I don't feel like looking it up, but I thought that guy was a Belichick disciple too. So he may be able to save it.
Right.
But I could be wrong. Mike McDaniels.
But he's going into Miami with a loaded roster.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, oh my God, you better get something done there, man.
Wow.
It's like Joe Barry over there in Green Bay.
I mean, that's probably I'm thinking that's probably the best duo wide receivers is Hill and Waddle.
Yeah, Joe Barry need to get fired. Ain't to fire him. Go ahead and fire him.
Yeah, and that's where it is too. That Joe Barry with 8 first-round draft picks on there, and producing a 21st ranked defense by PFF. That ain't good enough, man. We're giving you all the talent.
Right.
Go ahead, Mike.
Is that look, when you have a bunch of guys on your defense and your offense that's not consistent, you're not going to get consistent production. And look, even Jair, he's probably our best defender on the whole team. But there was a lot of games I saw him slacking on defense, letting guys get behind him, letting guys catch it in front of him, break through him, get extra yards. I mean, the whole team. David Bakhtiari, I really want him out of Green Bay. I know he didn't give any sacks last year, but he's not healthy enough for me. He'll be healthy 7 games and miss the next 8 or whatever. You got. I really miss TJ Lane. I mean, I know I'm going back in history, but I really miss the old guys that really built this team up and hold them together. Our owner now, I believe, is Brian Gutekunst. I think he needs to stop investing into defense unless he's going to get a new defensive coordinator. If he's not going to do that, stop putting into defense. Go start heading to the offensive side of the ball. Start adding like receivers. I really want to draft Michael Mayers. I really wanted him. We didn't get him. I wanted Hyatt. We didn't get him. I wanted Jigba. We didn't pull that off. There's just so many dudes. I'm like, Well,
go ahead. I was gonna say, you owe me a beer, Russell.
Playoffs.
Yeah. But like I said, it's gonna be a a 2-year process for the Bears with the inconsistency of the offensive line. We got to have, like I said yesterday on the show, all these players got to be in one position. They can't be switching around like they did with the offensive line last year. And we need an edge rusher as well. But I was looking at the stats on TJ of Ohio State, their edge rusher. Bring him on. I need him on our team. I want TJ.
As sad as this sounds, the Bears actually might be better than the Packers this season. As a Packer fan, it's sad for me to say that, but I think the Bears going to be better than the Packers this season.
It's going to be a fight between, like I said, between the Bears and Packers. Honestly, I think Minnesota is going to finish in the cellar.
You like that?
Yeah, I just my opinion. But even though that all the teams in the NFC North are happy that Aaron Rodgers left, it's still going to be, I think, a fight between the Bears and Packers for second place in that division.
I mean, if we're keeping it a buck, Justin Field has already seen NFL defenses for 17 games. So I think he has an idea of what the defense is going to throw at him. Jordan Love's only played, a game and a half, maybe 2?
Yeah. I understand that. But like I said, the thing about Mitch Trubisky, he couldn't read defenses. And that's why he was good his first year until he got hurt, his shoulder hurt, and then he was afraid to run. So he was very mobile. Justin Fields has got to start reading defenses as well, or he's going to be running his ass off like he did last year. So reading defenses, and look what Aaron Rodgers did. He sat behind Brett Favre, and look how good Aaron Rodgers turned out. So Jordan Love, a couple years sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, you never know. You never know what's going to happen in Green Bay.
But you can't forget when Rodgers came in. He came into a really good situation. It's not just that he sat behind Brett Favre. He came into a team with James Jones, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, AJ, Clay Matthews, Charles Woodson. He could probably say the top 5 corner all time. I mean, Tramon Williams. You got B.J. Raji. I mean, come on, that team was woo.
Well, yeah, and then plus Green Bay is getting some of their defensive players back. So it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a fight. That's why they play the games. We don't know what's gonna happen. We're just giving our our opinions and stuff like that. So
yeah, but Goat Mike is selling me on this Packer downfall more than I was actually sold. I was like, man, you're right. He did have all those people.
if we're keeping it a buck right now, right? Okay, nobody on our defense is close to Clay Matthews or AJ Hawk in their prime. None of them. If you think about it, right? Nobody on this offense, huh?
You don't like Quay Walker or DeAndre Campbell?
Those 2 guys are up and down. Like I said, Quay Walker. Quay Walker. The way he got suspended out of games, getting thrown out of game, losing his composure. I think that's a big red flag for me. If he shows that again, I would try to throw him out the back door. Devontae Campbell. He shows flash. Like I said, the whole team is showing flash. Devontae Campbell, I like him some games, and some games he's like, he's just not consistent. Whenever I play football, I'm big about consistency. You know what I mean? You're not going to win every play, but if you're consistent, I can respect it. But guys like Campbell and Quay Walker and Alexander, they're just not consistent. And I was really disappointed in Jair. But at the same time, I really can't blame Jair too much for the fact that if your front 4 is not getting consistent pressure on the quarterback,
I know all about that.
It hurts your secondary. Your secondary needs the front line to get pressure, so they ain't got to cover as long.
We were last in sacks last year, and I know the consistency of about the linebacker, how they AJ Hawk and stuff like that. We're never going to get linebackers like Lance Briggs and Urlacher. I mean, I do like Edmonds and TJ Edwards, the pickup that we have, and we got Sanborn and maybe Sewell getting there on the backup and stuff like that. But we're never going to get linebackers. There's not many teams that are going to get linebackers like Briggs and Urlacher was. I'm telling you, that was a team to reckon with, and the defense brought us to that 2006 Super Bowl. It's just that we had Rex Grossman, and then it didn't hurt that Thomas Jones got hurt that game. but defense got us to that Super Bowl.
Okay, Bear Down Mike says Alexander did get burned by Harry and Equinius. How do you say Equanimous?
But
Equanimous.
guys forget. It's actually easy to get burned when you're look. Look. Okay, so look in the first couple of games, everybody forget Jair was actually playing hurt. I saw a report on that. Jair is playing hurt the first couple of games. On count of that, Rashawn Gary got hurt after a couple of games. Rashawn Gary's our best. He's our leader on our front four.
He's a beast.
He's a beast up there. But when he went down, it made things a lot harder for Jair because like if Rashawn Gary's our best rusher and he's not up there getting pressure, Jair got to cover 8, 9, 10, 12 seconds. That's way too long. So I think if Rashawn Gary comes back and he's half what he was last year, just half, I think that's good enough. Along with Preston Smith, who had 8 sacks last year, and those two guys combined should be able to get enough pressure to give Jair a lighter load on the defensive end. But I still need Wyatt to come to life. Wyatt showed me flashes. Slayton showed flashes. I need him to pick it up. Slayton and Wyatt to me are the wild cards on our front four. On our O line, we need a bunch of guys to pick it up, man.
Well,
I know
if Alexander and Gary were hurt against us and you had Jordan Love, you probably would have lost that game. But you had Aaron Rodgers, and if your defense is hurt, your offense will definitely kick it in.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a beast. I mean, at the end of that game last year when they were playing the Lions in Lambeau, on that 4th and 2, I knew in the back of my mind that if they didn't get that 4th and 2, that Aaron Rodgers was going to the playoffs. There was no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers does that Aaron Rodgers thing at the end of the game.
If we're keeping it a buck, now everybody look. I love Aaron Rodgers to death, but I feel like his IQ at times is really low. And I'm gonna tell you how. If you watch the Lions defense, the Lions in the first half, they played pretty basic defense, and Watson kept getting behind them. So the Lions coach said, "Hey, we're all going to play back. We're going to play far back, and we're going to take this deep ball from Watson because Watson all he does is go deep." So the Lions defense made an adjustment and said, "We're just going to play back." So if you're Aaron Rodgers, right, you're supposed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? You're not a rookie. You're a Hall of Famer. You're supposed to say, "Hey, Watson, I'm going to fake this ball deep." What you're going to do, you're going to go deep. You're going to cut back to the ball. I'm going to put it in your chest. Kind of how you did with Devontae Adams, where he would fake, go deep, stop on a dime, turn back to the ball. Watson it's like if the defense is playing far back, you as a Hall of Fame quarterback, what's telling you in your mind to keep trying to throw it deep when you can say, okay, you're going to fake deep, cut back this way, I'm going to throw it to you on a dime, boom. Because I kept seeing Rodgers kept trying to force it between multiple guys in the back in the deep field. Like on that last play, he shouldn't have threw it. It was like 3rd down and 10 for Green Bay, I believe. Something like that. And he threw the ball deep. I'm like, why? They just stopped that twice. Okay, have some fake deep, cut back. You don't need 15, 20 yards, Aaron Rodgers. You need 10. You need 10 yards. You're going for 25, 20. Just take this 10 yards, break it down step by step. If the Lions are going to keep playing deep ball, make them press up. Then when they press up, you go back to playing deep. That's IQ, but Rodgers is like, I don't know, man. I mean, he's a great quarterback, but I don't like the IQ of not making if the defense is playing close, you try to get it over the top. If they're playing back, you try to throw it in front and make them press up. Once they press up, you throw it back. So that's to me.
Well, Mike, I saw when I was looking at that game, what I was really seeing was how our defensive linemen were dominating your offensive linemen during the entire game, stopping the run. And that makes it hard. That makes it hard for, your quarterback, especially when the defensive backs, he wants to have time to be able to, get that ball downfield. And if he cuts in, I mean, I don't know how many times he was wide open on that, but I know that he was under a lot of duress immediately. I know Aleem McNeil was getting pressures that right in the center of that offensive line. And I don't know what it was other than just getting dominated on the physical part. And that's
They didn't use their weapons. We had weapons. We had weapons. We didn't use. We didn't use Mercedes Lewis, who's a great blocker. We didn't use the Guarwa is not the biggest guy, but he's not afraid to get down dirty. We should have threw in Lewis and the Guarwa together and played a 7-man O line. I ain't gonna cap. I would have threw both of them out there just to try to counter that defense.
Yeah, I mean that's what you got to do. You got to double up some of them guys. And the thing is like you got to understand Mercedes Lewis ain't that good. Like, I mean, he ain't scaring nobody. You can go ahead and put him out there, and they're just going to cover him. And our defensive line will move that dude. I mean, Mercedes who? Like Mercedes.
I mean,
Lewis,
you got to try though. It's the thought. It's like it's not saying it's going to work per se, but it might throw them off guard because if you haven't done it the whole first half, you got to try things
sure.
that the other coach has not seen you try yet. Like if I throw Lewis out there out of nowhere, y'all's coach probably thinking like, what? Huh? So now he got to adjust to that. It's like throwing haymaker, just throwing out random stuff
It
that the
was
other team
though.
seen.
I mean,
Huh?
when it was, I mean, that was a haymaker. That when that heavyweight fight came, let's be real about this. Green Bay was on a winning streak. The Lions were on a winning streak. This was two heavyweight contenders going at it, and the Lions got told that they weren't going to make the playoffs, and it's like they were swinging like Ali Frazier, and they were going back and forth, and it came down to one play. I mean, that's what you want as a coach, as a player, you want to be in that position to where the game's on the line and you want to be able to make a play. I thought it was a great battle all the way around, like, coaching kung fu, player kung fu. Like it was a pre-playoff game.
So, Mike, what's your aspect on week 1?
We're playing the Bears, right?
Absolutely. That's the only reason why I would ask.
Okay, so look, week 1. I ain't gonna cap to you. I got us in the L column against the Bears.
Oh my Lord.
I feel like Jordan Love's nerves are gonna be really high. It's his first year that he's seen as the starting quarterback. He's been on the bench for 3-4 years. So I think his nerves are gonna be very high, very in the way. Unless his team comes behind him and say, "Hey, bro, hey, I got your back." Unless that happens, I don't see Love just picking. As bad as the Bears defense has been, I could see them really frustrating the Jordan Love, who really hasn't really played that much in the NFL at a high level. I can see the Bears defense really rattling Jordan Love. I could see Jordan Love making some really crazy throws. The Bears will probably have about 2 picks. I got Jordan Love throwing 2 picks against the Bears. I got Watson. I think the NFL knows what Watson's about with the deep ball stuff. I think the Bears are just gonna say we're just gonna play deep with Watson. We're gonna cut off the deep ball with him. We're gonna make Jordan Love make intermediate passes. What I know for Jordan Love is that he's so flashes of throwing deep or short. But I think if the Bears if they just play deep on Watson and make Love have to make the intermediate pass, I don't think Love can do that at a high clip.
Yeah, I have us losing week 1 and us winning the last game of the year.
We in the twilight zone right now because now you're going to hear a Lion fan say that I got the Packers winning week 1 too because Aaron Rodgers doesn't play defense and Justin Fields has not proven that he can do anything against that Green Bay defense, injured or not. So, I mean, I don't see them scoring too many points against Green Bay. Mm-hmm.
Here's what people gotta understand too. The Bears were terrified of Aaron Rodgers. The Aaron Rodgers nightmare is out the door. So I don't believe the Bears were afraid of the Packers anymore. I don't believe any team is no longer afraid of the Packers now that Rodgers is gone. I think everybody in the NFC everybody's gonna attack Jordan Love. I'm telling y'all, all the teams in the NFC is going to attack Jordan Love because they know he's a young guy coming in. He really don't know what's what. I'm telling you, the Bears will come in here and stomp the Packers. I don't believe. I'm telling you, Jordan Love's not ready yet. I'm telling you, all these teams coming in, they're going to harass Jordan Love from the jump. Every play, double gut blitzes, disguise coverages, and I don't know if he can beat that right now.
This is just a beautiful day for me having a Green Bay Packer fan on here, like shitting
Oh
on
boy,
this friend.
good old John Dorn.
Yeah, I can tell Goat Mike is salty. Packers got the ride on the diva. Watch the Rodgers.
Wow. Well,
I'm a
see,
diehard fan,
I'm excited about the new additions on the Bears defense. You know, like I said, with Edmonds and Edwards and the way Brisker's playing, and like I said before, Stevenson's turning heads, our rookie from Miami. So I'm excited. But you said about harassing Jordan Love, we still don't have an edge rusher. So if we can't get to Jordan Love or at least put pressure on him, they're going to have a field day with our defense. So the edge rusher and our defensive line is going to determine that game on week 1.
Man,
but if we're being totally honest, if I'm playing against a young quarterback like Jordan Love, if I can't get pressure up front, what I'm gonna do some 1970 or 1980 type stuff. I'm gonna throw a bunch of guys in the. I'm gonna throw extra defenders in the secondary. I'm gonna put a 3-man rush, and I'll probably put a whole bunch of extra dudes in the secondary. And all I'm gonna do is try to just confuse Jordan Love where the ball's going. I'm gonna say, look, if you're gonna beat me, it's gonna be Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Well, see, I was a quarterback for 13 years for my township here, and it was 8-man and 5-man, and they knew how I won 4 championships when I was on my team and stuff like that. But they try to throw different, defenses at me like that. But I did not get flustered at all, even though they started throwing different stuff at me, because I did trust my receivers and stuff like that, and even our linemen were eligible as well. So they still couldn't put pressure on me because of my offensive line and stuff like that, and I just tore them apart. So, but that's the same thing about the Bears' offense or defensive line as well. Any team, I don't care whose team it is we're playing up against. If you can't get to that quarterback and that quarterback sits in that pocket, these receivers are going to get open. That's just how it goes.
You can sit in the pocket all you want, but the thing is your nerves calm enough in the pocket to make the right plays? Because everybody forgets, look, Jordan Love is not used to being a star. He used to being off the bench, handing out water bottles. Now he has to come into a starting role. He has to come in and start now and make starter throws and do starter training camps and all this stuff. I mean, I don't know if he can make the plays. I want him to do well, but losing number 12, that's definitely going to show this season. I want Love to do well, man. But like I said, bro, Watson is our only true threat on our receiver list. Jaden Reed, everybody say he's nice and all this and that. I don't care what Jaden Reed is doing in training camp. Show me on the field and pads. Watson to me is the only proven guy as a receiver on this team, and he's on his second year, and he's injury prone. Can he stay healthy? Can Romeo Doubs stay on the floor? He showed flashes, but he's up and down. Can Toure get some playing time? I want to see Toure get out there, son. He's not super strong, but he's really fast. I want to see him try to take the Al Lazar role. Our special teams, we lost Mason Crosby. That is big. That is huge. So hopefully Carlson or somebody. Oh man, this whole team.
Robbie Gold.
It's going. We also lost Adrian Amos. Everybody forgets he was big in our secondary. That was a big loss.
That's huge too.
That
is huge too.
I miss him.
So everybody forgets Rashawn Gary's out the first 5 games.
So we're gonna have to. We're up against it right here because sometimes we talk so much football, I kind of just forget what time it is. But at 1 o'clock right here. But I wanted to plug this. I want to continue this conversation. Anybody that's watching right now, we are going live tonight because it is Monday night, the time for the NFC North open mic, and we do a little bit of smack talking, and we do a little bit of. It's a little more like if this is PG-13, the R-rated version of this program is tonight. So don't bring your feelings. Your feelings won't be needed tonight because we're going to hurt them. We're going to hurt them if you come on to this show. And 7 p.m. Eastern, that'd be 6 p.m. in the Central Time for everybody else that is on normal time. Viewer-driven topics, and we want to continue this. We'll talk a little more about training camp, talk a little bit more about the injuries, and maybe there will be some more news by tonight. So thank you to Woody. Woody is part of the Hallis Hall report right here. Why don't you go ahead and give yourself a plug before we get on out of here?
Yeah, join Mike the Bear Fan. Follow him. Hallis Hall Report. I am involved on the panel. We do our shows on Wednesday nights, 7:30 Central Standard Time, and Sunday mornings right before kickoff, 11:30 Central Standard Time. That's our show.
There you go. And you can follow Mike the Bear Fan. Just type in Mike the Bear Fan. Go follow that page. He's also got a YouTube channel. If you're a Packer head and you love the Green Bay Packers, Bill the Packer Fan, he does great content if you're into that Packer type of stuff. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, we'd love to have you over here following the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. You know, we are the representation for the main event here. Detroit Lions news. We don't have any Minnesota Viking representative yet. We got a couple people on the fence with it, but you know, they're all in witness protection. They know their team's going to be garbage, so they're not going to go nothing. So we'll just leave it right there. We do want to invite you all to come on here tonight, and for Goat Mike, for Woody, for me being Russell Wayne right here. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you guys tonight. One proud.
See you later.
Salute.